Hey everyone, it's Alex, and I am back here with another video preview for the 91st Academy Awards. Today I'm going to be talking about the contenders for Best Documentary Feature. Now, Best Documentary Feature is one of the two documentary categories at the Oscars. The other is the short category. The difference between the two is their length. To qualify as a documentary feature, the film must be at least 40 minutes long. And of course, for the shorts, 40 minutes is the maximum that it can be lengthwise. Now, this is a category that has a lot of rules of what makes a film eligible and what does not. And I always have to print them out to remind myself and so that I can reiterate them on here. So to be eligible for Best Documentary Feature, the film has to be released in theaters in both Los Angeles and New York City for at least 7 days. That's one way to be eligible. Another way to be eligible is that it must have won a qualifying award at a competitive film festival as specified in the Documentary Feature Qualifying Festival list. And the third way it can be eligible is if it's also submitted in Best Foreign Language Film. And the Best Foreign Language Film aspect, I believe that is a brand new caveat in this category, because I don't recall seeing it listed in the rules in years past. And so that's why a lot of this year's Best Foreign Language Film entries are documentaries. And there are a couple of other rules too about films being eligible, such as being submitted by a certain date, and also in this case they have to be reviewed by certain newspapers. To qualify for this category, these documentaries not only have to be released in theaters, but they have to have been reviewed by one of the following newspapers: the New York Times, Time Out New York, the Village Voice, although that is now shut down, the Los Angeles Times, or LA Weekly. And this year there are 166 eligible contenders, which is a slight decrease from last year, which had 170. But still, 166 documentaries is a lot, so the documentary branch is going to have their hands full. And they're going to be watching these documentaries, and like they do every year, they're going to be whittling them down to 15 semifinalists. And these semifinalists will be announced in the middle of December, along with semifinalists for a bunch of other categories. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to list all 166 contenders and talk about some of the more notable entries on here, ones that I've seen, or ones that are getting a lot of buzz. Some of them you'll have heard me talk about before, but I'm just going to discuss them again for the purpose of this video. Just put the rule sheet over on my bed there. Alright, so here is the list of the 166 contenders for Best Documentary Feature for the 91st Academy Awards. Above and Beyond, NASA's Journey to Tomorrow, Active Measures, Amazing Grace, American Chaos, Andy Irons, Kissed by God, Antonio Lopez 1970, Sex, Fashion, and Disco, Avicii, True Stories, Bali, Beats of Paradise, Bathtubs Over Broadway, Be Natural, The Untold Story of Alice Guy Blaché, Believer, Better Angels, Bill Coors, The Will to Live, Bisbee 17, The Bleeding Edge, Boom for Real, The Late Teenage Years of Jean-Michel Basquiat, Breaking Point, The War for Democracy in Ukraine, Call Her Ganda, Charm City, Chef Flynn, The China Hustle, Christian Audigier the Viv, The Cleaners, Communion, Crime and Punishment, Dark Money, Daughters of the Sexual Revolution, The Untold Story of the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, The Dawn Wall, The Distant Barking of Dogs, Divide and Conquer, The Story of Roger Ailes, Drugs, Eating Animals, El Dorado, Fahrenheit 11/9, Fail State, Family in Transition, Far from the Tree, Film Worker. The First Patient, Foreign Land, 40 Years in the Making, The Magic Music Movie, Free Solo, Gary Winogrand, All Things Are Photographable, Generation Wealth, Ghost Hunting, Ghost Hunter. And no, I did not make a mistake there. There literally are two separate documentaries called Ghost Hunting and Ghost Hunter. Weird, I know, but that's how it is. The Gilligan Manifesto, The Gospel According to Andre, Grace Jones, Bloodlight and Balmy, Graves Without a Name, The Great Buster, A Celebration, Hal, Hale County This Morning, This Evening, Half the Picture, The Heart of Nuba, Hillbilly, The Homeless Chorus Speaks, Hondros, Howard, In Search of Greatness, In the Land of Pomegranates, Inmates, Inventing Tomorrow, Invisible Hands, Itzhak, Jane Fonda in 5 Acts, John McEnroe in the Realm of Perfection, The Judge, Kangaroo, A Love-Hate Story, Killer Bees, The King, King in the Wilderness, Kusama Infinity, The Last Race, Leaning into the Wind, Andy Goldsworthy, Letter from Masanjia, Liku, A Romanian Story, Living in the Future's Past, Liana, Lots of Kids, A Monkey and a Castle, Love and Bananas, An Elephant Story, Love Cecil, Love Gilda, Love is Tolerance, Tolerance is Love, Making the 5 Heartbeats, Maria by Callis, Matangi Maya MIA, McQueen, Minding the Gap, Monrovia, Indiana, The Most Unknown, New Moon, 93 Queen, Nasa Chape, Of Fathers and Sons, Of Love and Law, On Her Shoulders, Opera About Poland, The Opera House, The Oslo Diaries, The Other Side of Everything, The Panama Papers, Path of Blood, People's Republic of Desire, Philosopher King, Li Tenghui's Dialogue, Pick of the Litter, Pirip Kura, Police Killing, Pope Francis, A Man of His Word, The Price of Everything, The Price of Free, Quincy, RBG, The Rachel Divide, The Raft, Recovery Boys, Restoring Tomorrow, Reversing Row, The Road Movie, Robin Williams, Come Inside My Mind, Reuben Blades Is Not My Name, Samuni Road, Saving Brinton, Say Her Name, The Life and Death of Sandra Bland, Science Fair, Scotty and the Secret History of Hollywood, Searching for Ingmar Bergman, Seeing Allred, The Sentence, Shirkers, Shot in the Dark, The Silence of Others, Sisters of the Wilderness, A Son of Man, Songwriter, Stan, Studio 54, Summer in the Forest, Tea with the Danes, That Summer, That Way Madness Lies, They Fight, They'll Love Me When I'm Dead, This is Congo, This is Home, A Refugee Story, 3 Identical Strangers, To Be Continued, Transformer, Travel Ban, The Trial, Triumph, The Untold Story of Perry Wallace, Trust Machine, Under the Wire, United Skates, Unknown Distance, Up, Down, and Sideways, The Waldheim Waltz, We Could Be Heroes, Weed the People, What Haunts Us, What Lies Upstream, Whitney, Wonderful Losers, A Different World, Won't You Be My Neighbor, Yellow is Forbidden, Yellowing, And those are the eligible contenders for Best Documentary Feature. Some of them that I've seen, which I've already mentioned in several other videos, include Won't You Be My Neighbor, which is of course the documentary about Mr. Rogers that everyone is talking about. It's made over $20 million, which for a documentary is huge. It details everything from how Fred Rogers created his hit children's show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, to behind-the-scenes secrets, to revelations about his childhood, his marriage, and everything about his personal life. And it was just a really heartwarming documentary, and it showed that the man really was what he seemed on television. He really was as nice as he appeared to be. There was nothing fake or phony or insincere about him, and we really need more people like him in this world, and I think anyone who's seen the movie will agree. And when I saw the movie in a packed theater, there was not a single dry eye in the house when the end credits started rolling. And then of course I've also seen RBG, fantastic documentary about Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or the notorious RBG as she's known to a lot of people, because she's probably the most popular Supreme Court justice we've had in a long time, even if she's not the Chief Justice of the court. But she's very well known for speaking her mind, regardless of who agrees with her and who doesn't. And the film, it's a biographical documentary going over her early life, her early career, and her struggle with being a woman in what was largely a man's profession back in the day of being a lawyer, and how she overcame the sexism in there. But it's still a very excellent, compelling documentary. And even if you don't know anything about her, you'll come out of the movie just loving her, or at least admiring her. Three Identical Strangers, that of course is the documentary that is one of those stranger-than-fiction stories, but it really did happen, about these three men who were triplets, or are triplets I should say, and were separated at birth, and then they eventually found each other when they were adults, and then crazy stuff just started being revealed, one revelation after another. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's really one of those things you should go in blind so that you can find out for yourself, because if other people tell you, it may pique your interest, but it will kind of ruin the impact, because I had that happen to me. Not necessarily ruined it for me, but I was seeing another movie and I heard these people behind me talking about Three Identical Strangers, and I'd been curious about it, but then the whole concept was ruined for me, so now I knew what the big revelation was going to be once I went into the theater, but I still had a good time with it nonetheless. By the way, anything that I talked about, that was only stuff that was shown in the trailer, so I didn't really give away any major spoilers, but the people behind me who were in the theater for the other movie I was seeing before I saw it, they did give away the major spoilers that the trailer did not show. And Whitney, of course, that was the documentary about Whitney Houston. It's one of those, it's a lot like that 2015 documentary Amy, which ended up winning this category a couple years ago. It traces everything in Whitney Houston's life, her childhood, her early career, her battle with substance abuse, her troubled marriage to Bobby Brown, and of course her tragic death. So there's not really anything new that you wouldn't know about her before, at least generally. There might be some information which you might not have known that I didn't know, but if you know Whitney Houston's overall life story, you're going to see it in this movie. That's not a bad thing, because when you make biographical documentaries, you have to go by with what's publicly known, and as well as what people around that person tell the filmmakers. So it's not like the most groundbreaking or revolutionary documentary ever, but it's still a really great documentary that if you're a fan of music or a fan of Whitney Houston, you should at least watch, just to see who she was. So those are the documentaries that I have seen. Others that I've heard about a lot of these. Some of these are best foreign language film contenders, such as, let me see here, El Dorado, which is Switzerland's contender. Let's see. Ghost Hunting. That's Palestine's Contender, I believe. Ruben Blazes My Name, that's Panama's entry. The Waldheim Waltz, that's Austria's entry. And Yellow is Forbidden, that's New Zealand's entry. And then documentaries that I've heard about, either from film reviews or just film news websites. Call Her Ganda, I've heard about. It's about a murder of a transgender woman in the Philippines. Chef Flynn, I heard, is about like this teenage chef prodigy. Free Solo, I've heard about but didn't see because I was busy with other things. Hal is about legendary director Hal Ashby. Jane Fonda in 5 Acts and John McEnroe in the Realm of Perfection. Obviously those films are about Jane Fonda and John McEnroe. Love Gilda, that's a tribute documentary to Gilda Radner. Let's see, Matangi, Maya, M.I.A., that's about the rapper M.I.A. Maria Callas, obviously about opera singer Maria Callas. McQueen, there's a lot of people named McQueen, but specifically this one is about the late fashion designer Alexander McQueen. Monrovia, Indiana, it's the latest documentary from Frederick Wiseman, who's made like a lot of documentaries highlighting various aspects of American life. Very well known in the documentary world. Pope Francis, A Man of His Word. I forgot to mention that. I did see that. Very good documentary. You know, a lot of it's just Pope Francis talking to the camera about his beliefs and where he thinks the Catholic Church should go in terms of its future direction. So it's not necessarily a biographical documentary about his life, but it was a very interesting watch. Quincy, about Quincy Jones, I still have not seen that. Robin Williams, Come Inside My Mind, heard a lot of great things about it, never got the chance to see it. Say Her Name, The Life and Death of Sandra Bland. Obviously it's about Sandra Bland, one of the many victims of police brutality in recent years. Searching for Ingmar Bergman, obviously about legendary director Ingmar Bergman. Seeing Allred, about legendary Hollywood attorney Gloria Allred. Tea with the Songwriter, that's a documentary about Ed Sheeran. Studio 54, I heard about that. It's obviously a documentary about the famous Studio 54 nightclub, which is now a Broadway theater. Tea with the Dames, saw a trailer for it. It's basically just a conversation with these 4 great British actresses, Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, Eileen Atkins, and Joan Plowright. They'll Love Me When I'm Dead. It's made by the same filmmaker who made Won't You Be My Neighbor, Morgan Neville, and that's a documentary about Orson Welles and the making of his film The Other Side of the Wind, which Orson Welles never finished in his life, but many other people worked to finish and restore it, and it just dropped on Netflix last month. Oh, another foreign language film contender I missed, Wonderful Losers, A Different World. It's a documentary about bike racing. And then also there's Minding the Gap, which I forgot to mention, which is a documentary about, I believe, skate culture. So those are all the documentaries that I know of at this point, either from seeing them or from just hearing news about them. As to what I think will make the semi-finalist lists, I don't know, but I hope at the very least Won't You Be My Neighbor and RBG make the cut, because if they don't, I am going to be genuinely shocked. Like, I'll be as shocked as when Amy Adams didn't get a nomination for Arrival 2 years ago. That was one of the most shocking Oscar snubs of all time, for me at least. And if these 2 documentaries don't even make the semi-finalist list, I'll be flabbergasted. I'm sure there are many great other documentaries out there that I haven't seen, but these two documentaries, particularly Won't You Be My Neighbor, it's just one of those documentaries that comes along once in a lifetime and leaves the kind of impact that few documentaries leave on the medium and on the general public. So we'll see what happens in a few weeks once the semifinalists are revealed. But let me know in the comment section below, what are your favorite documentaries out of the ones I've mentioned on this list, and what do you hope will make the semifinalist list as well as get nominated for the Oscars. So leave your thoughts, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell to get all my new videos as soon as they're uploaded. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!